Hey guys, welcome back. As some of you may know, I'm a big fan of the original Porsche Macan. So when I heard that the second generation Macan was going to be all electric, no gas versions, I can't lie, I was a little bit disappointed. But here I am looking down the barrel of one right in front of me. Let's see if this car is any good. You know what? Already I'm kind of not liking this plastic right here. Kind of an odd choice. Not the absolute best legroom back here, but that's consistent with the outgoing model. So far, 0 squeaks in the back seat. Wow, that's pretty good. Let's check out the front. Guys, I don't think it's supposed to do that. And now for the button test. And now for the final button. Alright everyone, so I've been kind of anticipating the worst when it comes to Porsche's absolute latest cars, and unfortunately my suspicions appear to be correct. This car is not as nice inside as the outgoing car. Let me explain why. Most of the areas in here were actually pretty solid, except for this little bright work piece right here. That is a bit squeaky. It's supposed to look like metal, and then it's got the ambient lighting bit in here, but it's quite squeaky. Take a listen. I know the Porsche lovers are going to argue in the comments and say, oh no, it's supposed to be like that. It's safer in a crash, or they'll make up some shit. If I'm going to spend $82,000 on a new Porsche, I don't want to hear that. I also don't want to see black piano veneer plastic, but we'll talk about that later. Believe me. You know, aside from that piece, there were just only a couple little squeaks here and there. And then I guess this piece right here was supposed to move, in fact, but not while the car is turned off. But now that the car is on, it does move up and down a little bit, like this whole thing is one piece. So I guess it was supposed to do that. I was mistaken. But yeah, these squeaks should not be tainting the Porsche name. I'm afraid I'm going to have to give this a 7 out of 10 for fit and finish. Actually, Mercedes won up this car. What the hell? The materials, in my opinion, are more disappointing than the fit and finish. Let's talk about that. The outgoing Macan had soft touch vinyl in all of your major areas on the dash and the door, and I believe it was also in the lower parts, and it had a nice texture to it. This one also has a soft touch vinyl, but the texture is not nearly as nice as the outgoing car. I wonder why they changed it. But yeah, that continues on the door here, and then the lower part of the dash, like your glove box and lower, this is hard, crappy plastic. Same with this little bridge right here, or whatever this piece is called. On both sides, this is smooth, and then this is textured, both hard, crappy plastic. This is very un-Porsche-like. At least it doesn't squeak at all, but, I mean, seriously? The main trim in this car is, unfortunately, the god-awful black piano veneer-looking plastic, not actually wood. And, yeah, take a look at this. I mean, you can see fingerprints on it already. If the camera will focus right, there's even some micro scratches in there already. This is a brand new car. I'm probably honestly the first person to test drive it. And you can kind of see the sun reflecting the little scratches right there. This car is brand spanking new. Imagine this car being 10 years old, used. That's just embarrassing. See? What a god-awful choice in material. I'm a bit torn about these seats. They're comfortable, but it's hard to tell what material they are. Initially, they look and feel like plastic, but knowing Porsche and knowing some of their electric cars, this might actually be a vegan leather. Either way, it really doesn't feel bad. If it's a vegan leather, I can forgive it. It is not the worst I've ever felt. The headliner is cloth, but the sun visor is the soft touch vinyl side, I guess. And then the buttons and switchgear in this car are mostly good. It's kind of what you would expect from Porsche. They're pretty clicky and tight and tactile, which I love. Although there's a couple pieces I'm not sure about. For one thing, we have a bit of knurling here. This feels like it could be real metal. I'm not really sure. This might be real metal on the knurling, but then this, for example, this is rubber. This is plastic. They use a couple different materials, it seems, for the knurling. I'm not sure why they're not consistent. And then one thing I've noticed that's different on these newest Porsches, that's a departure from the outgoing cars, the seat controls are not metal anymore. This looks like it would be kind of like a bronze finish or like a dark painted metal, but nope, it's just crappy plastic. The old cars used to have like real shiny metal for their seat controls. Not anymore. You get plastic shit, you fucking peasant. And for $82,000, you also don't get lumbar, and you get a manual adjustable steering wheel. What kind of fucking shit is that? That actually kind of pisses me off. This interior gets a 5 out of 10 for materials, which is unheard of for Porsche, but this car deserves it.
Fuck.
So there you guys have it. Your final score is going to be 7 out of 10 for fit and finish, 5 out of 10 for materials. Please let me know your thoughts. Alright guys, so real talk, even though I'm kind of disappointed with this interior, the driving experience is actually quite nice. I did take this on a real test drive, and it's pretty nice. It's comfortable. It takes the bumps very well. I can get the seat very low. This has a very low seating position, especially for an SUV or a crossover. So I'm 6'2", and I can fit in here just fine. And I can rest my arm up here, totally comfortable. It's actually a pretty comfortable ride, I can't lie, and the instant torque is nice. Like one just twitch of the throttle and you're off to the races. Like, it's a very responsive throttle, which that's what you would expect from Porsche and from an EV, to be honest. Got plenty of power. I know this is the base car. I think it's a little over 400 horsepower, if I'm not mistaken. For the base model, this thing does scoot. Can't wait to try a turbo, though, see what that one's like. But, yeah, despite this car's interior shortcomings, I do actually like the way it drives. The only thing I'm not a fan of is the steering. Don't get me wrong, it is sharp, especially when you're at speed and you kind of move it off center. It is responsive, but it feels to me very artificial and lightweight, not a lot of feel. I honestly prefer the outgoing Macan steering feel. Anyway, thank you guys for watching and listening to me ramble about cars that I'll never buy. Keep an eye out for some new stuff. I'm going to try to pump out some more videos shortly for you guys to debate each other on in the comments. I always like to go to the comments to see what the experts think. Anyway, I'll catch you next time. Peace.